All DJs make mistakes, and in today's video I'm going to share with you 5 common mistakes that new DJs make so that you're aware of them and so that you can avoid them. Let's get straight into it. Mistake number 1, and that is going for the wrong types of DJ gigs that do not fit your style of DJing. Now, I completely get it. In 2025, it is competitive. It is tough to get DJ work. However, try not to just go for the first opportunity that presents itself. For example, you're a techno DJ and you love playing techno, and that is the crowd that you want to play to. But an opportunity arises in your local high street nightclub. You know the type. They play R&B, they play hip hop, they play chart music, they play sing-along stuff. Now, if you take that gig and you can play open format, that's brilliant. That might be a good fit for you. However, if all you want to do is play techno, then the chances are you are going to hate that DJ gig. And also what you don't want to run the risk of doing is creeping away from the music policy that they've asked you to play and play your style of music. Because ultimately, if the crowd aren't here or there, should I say, for techno music and you start playing it, you're going to clear the floor. The manager or the promoter that's booked you is not going to be happy with you, and you will not get booked again. And here in the UK especially, the DJ market is actually quite small. People do talk, and so it might hinder your opportunity further down the line. Or it might be that you are passionate about techno and you also are quite fine to play open format. And that's absolutely fine. It could be the right opportunity for you. But in those situations, what I would do is do the gigs, do those well. Do not share too much about those gigs on social media, because if your content that you're posting online is heavy techno related, and then they see you playing ABBA in your stories or in your posts, then it kind of damages your brand or your online persona as a techno DJ. So just bear that in mind. Personally though, if I was a specialist DJ and I wanted to play one particular style of music, let's use the techno example, I would be researching and targeting promoters, events, venues that play that style of music. And yes, it may take a little bit longer to get a gig or a foot in the door on that scene. However, when that opportunity arises, that is your opportunity to shine. Mistake number 2, and that is ripping music from the internet. Now, I have never done this activity. I do not condone it in any way because it is highly illegal. Now, I'm not talking about just downloading music off of the internet, like from a record pool or whatever. I'm talking about using one of those dodgy programs to rip music from sites like SoundCloud, Beatport, etc., etc. First and foremost, it is completely illegal. You're not allowed to do it. But also, point number 2, when you start playing those tracks on big sound systems, it might sound fine on your mobile phone. It might sound fine on your computer system. But when you get onto a big sound system, the sound is just going to be awful. Just don't do it. It will make you sound amateur and it just won't sound very good. What I would personally do is always make sure you get your music from legitimate sources, whether it be record pools. Now, when it comes to record pools, of course, I always recommend Heavy Hits. Use my link down in the description and you can get your first month if you use my code KARLTHOMAS at checkout for just $5. Heavy Hits is a great example of a record pool, and it's the one that I use. Or you can get your music online from Beatport, Tracksource. And you can even get free music from places like SoundCloud if the producer of the track has put the track up for a free download. They have to have selected that option. But please, please, please do not rip music off of the internet. Mistake number 3, and hear me out on this one, it's not having enough music. Now, this has actually happened to me before, whereby I'm DJing in a venue and I've been lucky enough to have a warm-up DJ, and they stuck their USB in. They were booked to play for an hour before I took over the kind of main bit of the night, and they ran out of music 45 minutes into their set, and I actually had to jump on to DJ a little bit earlier. Now, I haven't got a problem with that. That's fine because I've been doing it for many years. And so for me to play an extra 15 minutes, I'm not going to be a diva about it. It was absolutely fine. However, they told me afterwards that they had planned out this set and it had lasted an hour, but they just got through the tracks a lot quicker. So just make sure that you have enough music on your USB. If you're booked to play for an hour, have like an hour and a half to 2 hours of music. If you're booked to play all night, just make sure that you've got a ton of music. But also within the music that you've got, in terms of having enough, make sure that you have got enough variety in there so that you can change it up should the crowd not be reacting as well as you hoped to the styles that you are playing. So for example, like on my laptop, I play a largely house orientated room on a Friday night, but I will have different types of house. I'll have some tech house, I'll have some vocal kind of piano-y house, I'll have some minimal, I'll have, you know, all different types of house music on there, because then I have the flexibility to change up my set as is needed by the room. But yes, make sure that you have enough music to begin with to cover your set time. Very, very important. Mistake number 4, and that is peaking too soon. Now, if you are booked for an hour slot and you're booked to play the peak hour, you can pretty much ignore this. However, this very much applies to the warm-up DJs out there and to the DJs that are playing all night long. If you are a warm-up DJ, the clue is in the title, you are there to warm up the crowd. If you go in too hard playing all the peak time bangers as soon as the club opens, then the chances are you are just going to throw off the crowd, confuse them before they've even had a chance to put their coat in the cloakroom and get a drink at the bar. You'll end up annoying the other DJ because they are there to play those tracks later on, and you'll probably annoy the promoter or manager who has booked you. So please avoid it. I'm not saying that you can't play anything familiar to a crowd while warming up, but try and find tracks that are slightly lower tempo. Maybe they're a little bit more old school, maybe a bit more obscure. That is your opportunity to really put the musical knowledge that you have gained to the test. If you are playing all night long, then do not peak too soon. Ultimately, if you're playing from 10 till 3 and the crowd has heard all of the peak time anthems by 11:30, then the chances are they are going to leave early. Similarly, if you play them too late, then they are going to get bored early and also leave. So find that sweet spot in the middle and then really kind of gear the night up for those peak anthems through your music selection. But please, please, do not peak too soon. You do need to structure your set in the right way to ensure that the dance floor remains filled for as long as possible. And then finally, mistake number 5, just to round things off, is not knowing your music. Now, what I mean by this, first and foremost, is the structure of the tracks you are playing. Try to listen to your songs before you play them out. That way you'll know how long the intro is, where the vocals are, how long is the breakdown, is the drop really energetic? So you'll know key bits of information about the track, and then you can combine that knowledge with beats, bars, and phrases, okay? Now, if you don't know the concept of beats, bars, and phrases, there is a link in the description to a video that I have done that walks you through this, because those two things combined will help you with placing your mixes so that they make musical sense to your audience. Now, I get that if you are in a bit of an emergency and you need to download a quick track before your DJ set and you haven't got an opportunity to listen to it ahead of playing it out, that's absolutely fine. You can then do a bit of a safety mix, just mixing the outro and the intro together. But if you did that all night long, it would be pretty boring. But also another advantage of knowing your music is you'll get to know where you might place the track in your set. For example, is it particularly high energy? So it's going to be really at the peak of your night. Is it a bit lower energy? So it might be more suited to a warm-up. Is it kind of somewhere in the middle? If you know about the energy, if you know about how big the track is going to sound, then it will help with your set structure through the night. But if you don't know your music, you are at risk of having a DJ set that just does not flow, with tracks that are low energy into high energy, then back down again, then back up again. And essentially it's not going to be good for sustaining the dance floor. So try and have knowledge of your tracks in advance. So there we go, 5 easy mistakes and how to avoid them as a DJ. Now, if you don't make mistakes, you will never develop. And so it is important to not be afraid of making those mistakes. So let me know, what mistakes have you made in your journey as a DJ? Let's learn from each other down in the comments down below. Massive shout out to all of my channel members for supporting this channel. Your name is on screen right now. Please do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button if you have made it this far and you found this video useful. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. I am closing in on 15K subscribers, and I'll catch you in the next video.